nice thing about hosting your own podcast is you get to talk about yourself.
There you go.
BancABC gets to boast. So, as you know, we're selling stands. We have stands in Harare and Bulawayo. We have Barrington. We have Tinwald in Bulawayo. We have Hopeland and Hopeville. And we take cash payments, or we allow people to pay over terms, 24 to 30 months. You can contact us for more information. But right now we want to talk about the option of mortgages. And without specifically talking about the mortgages for our stands, we just want to understand how mortgages work. And we have our expert, Andrew Phiri, who works for BancABC. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Tafadzwa. Good day. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for joining us. At least now I have someone.
So it's a two on two.
No, I feel like
Let's have it.
I have protection now. Okay, so Andrew, if you could just explain to people what a mortgage is and how it works before we get into what BancABC is offering.
All right. So just to begin with, a mortgage is a finance from the bank for one to buy a property, be it a stand or a already built property. Yes.
Okay, how does it work?
So a mortgage, you approach the bank, mainly salaried people, then approaches the bank to apply for a mortgage to buy the stand or the already built up property, like we said. When this happens, someone with the bank then finances the purchase of the property. So it's like one getting to buy a property without taking out the buying price from his or her pocket, but rather the bank financing the property, then the customer then paying the bank in installments over years.
So, can I take a mortgage? Is the property yours or is it mine?
Can I take a mortgage? Property, innovate or register como customer.
So it's my property.
Yes.
And then on that property, name me. And that means that I'm now paying you for the next 48 or 60 months. Ndizo.
Ongu. So, kana tichiti munari kutenga ne mortgage. You are buying the property and it will be registered in your name.
Okay.
But the bank will then get the title deed as you be using that same property as security. To then say, in case of default, for instance, the bank will then use that same property as security.
Okay.
So why can it only be a salaried person who can apply?
Not necessarily salaried people, but for the bank to then assess your ability to repay the installments, would need someone who is earning something. But for instance, there are people who might say, we are self-employed, we do our own things. Definitely they are getting some income coming through. We'll also assess those incomes and apply for mortgages for them.
Can I give an example? Sekuru Munjongondi in Mbare, he runs a thriving steelwork business and he gets $5,000 a month. He's raised 3 children, paid their school fees on time. He's bought a stand and built a house. And, you know, for all intents and purposes, he's got his affairs in order. But he operates in Mbare, he gets cash, and he doesn't have a pay slip, he doesn't have financial records. How does he have a chance to actually get a mortgage?
And definitely he does. So maybe if you are to look generally in Zimbabwe, employment rate is a bit low. So majority of the people in Zimbabwe do their own things, like this scenario you just alluded. What would then require from this particular customer is to open an account with us. Then they start banking with us. Their personal funds, they would be depositing in their account. For instance, like you said, he might be earning 5,000 a month. At any day that he wishes, he can deposit that 5,000. He uses those funds to pay his fee, his children's fees, groceries, rentals, if he's renting etc. Through the bank. Then the bank will then analyze those incomes that you'll be channeling through the bank. Then we can then give him or her a mortgage. Okay. But what I'm just trying to say is we can't assess the cash that is in your pocket.
A big complaint I often get is people say, Sha, Kura, I'm renting and ndrukubhadhara $400. I've never been thrown out of the place. I've never defaulted. Lenders are not going to kukupa reference. But when I come to the bank and I say, hey guys, ndautora mortgage and the repayment is $300, less than I've demonstrated I've got capacity to pay. Zimbabwe, not everything goes through the bank account. I end up being stuck. And I feel I'm stuck mugeto because I can't get out because murgundi nyimamari.
What I've seen is in Zimbabwe, most people they're just afraid of banks. But the paperwork that we require is not something that people don't have. What we require is your proof of income. For instance, if you're salaried, then we need your payslip. If you're not, then we need something to prove that you get that certain income. Okay. If you're self-employed, you then give us, you say, I sell these steel, these are my invoices for the past 3 months. I've been getting these 5,000 cash sales in a month. So you can have a look at these invoice books. Then we then say, try to channel those funds through the bank. What else do you need? Maybe a copy of your ID. Obviously, everyone has. You can't then say, I don't have a copy of ID. What else do you need? Where are you staying currently? We need your proof of residence. You said your landlord can give you, can vouch for you. So the landlord can give you a lease agreement. We can use a lease agreement as your proof of residence. Or even the landlord can give you the bill, the utility bill of that house you're currently staying on. And you then just put it on affidavit that I'm currently staying on this certain house since it's not in your name. So I would say anything to do with documents is just us as Zimbabweans maybe who are just afraid of banks. But the documents that you require, they're not much, and it's not something that will chase you away, but it's something that you definitely have. And you might not have it when you come to the bank, but when you go back home, it's something that you can address and bring to the bank.
Okay. Pamariapa. When I'm applying for a mortgage, what costs do I need to keep in mind?
Firstly, when you're applying for a mortgage with the bank has what we call a debt service ratio. This is a DSR to 40% currently. We are saying
40% of what?
Of your net salary. We are saying we can't take more than 40% of your net salary as a repayment.
Okay.
So for any amount that you'd want to apply for the bank, we have to take that into consideration. To then say you are earning, for instance, $1,000 in a month. Your repayment should not exceed $400.
Got you.
Because we need you also to pay your children's school fees. We need you also to put food on the table. We need you also to get new shoes when you want and not be choked by the bank to pay repayments with your whole salary.
Okay. 40%. Okay.
So is that just as BancABC or?
This is governed by the central bank, yes, but okay. Banks do differ. Some are also offering as low as 25%.
Okay.
So if you check, this will determine how much you qualify for. So when you're applying for a mortgage, there is what we call an application fee. Most of the times it's a percentage of the amount that you are applying for. And currently it's on 1.5% with a minimum of $20 and a maximum of $100. Definitely if you are to calculate 1.5% of the least valued property in Zimbabwe, it's way over $100.
Sure.
So $100, I think it's way reasonable as an application fee. Okay. To then say,
that's for you to collect my papers and look at it, okay?
Which as BancABC we are saying, you can pay this application fee after we have agreed with you that you are qualifying for this much and we have disbursed the amount.
Okay.
Yes, we can even deduct from that application fee from the mortgage amount that would have funded your account. So it's not something that we're saying, give us that amount like now, before we even tell you that you qualify or not.
Okay.
Yes. Then we also talk about arrangement fee. Our arrangement fee is currently on 4% of the mortgage amount. Yes. Then there is also insurance fee. Insurance, which is 0.11% paid monthly on the mortgage amount. Yes. Then there are also instances which are different customer to customer. When you are applying for a mortgage, would also need the customer to raise at least 20% of the property value. To say if you are applying for, if you want to buy a property which costs 100,000, we need you to raise at least 20,000. Then the bank will finance the remainder.
And you're doing that for your protection so that I'm not living in the bank's property and I'm removed from it.
Yes.
So your exposure is managed by me having my dollar in the property as well.
Sure.
Okay. When I do that, am I affecting my interest rate with you guys? If I put in, so it's 100, you want 20. If I say 30, do I get a better interest rate because I've lessened your risk?
Yes, it's something that that is open for negotiation. To then say, no, guys, the property that I want to buy is 400,000. I have 80% of that. What I just need from the bank is 20%, and I'm told the interest rate is at this certain percentage, but I would want to negotiate it to this certain percentage. That's something we can talk about.
I've got so many questions.
Don't start to me.
I've been just holding my tongue.
But wait, and
Yeah.
it's for how long? How long are our mortgages for?
So currently the mortgages that we are offering, they are for 5 years, that is 60 months. Then we have also conditions which can take us up to 10 years and up to 15 years. So now maybe if you are to dive into that, if a single person, just a general customer, walks into the bank as an individual, we'll offer that someone a 5-year tenure. But if it's a corporate that you are negotiating with, to then say they have a certain number of employees that they would want them to get mortgages through the bank, we can then negotiate, as we'll be now negotiating with the corporate, though on behalf of the individuals. The properties will be in the names of the individuals, and the individuals will be borrowing, but the negotiations would have been done through their company. And these are what we call the group loan schemes.
Okay, that sounds very good. I'd like to ask, just to start off with, more from an industry perspective. Well, actually, let's start off with BancABC. Do you offer pre-approved mortgages? Is there such a thing?
Pre-approved mortgages,
Yeah.
yes, we do offer those, but like I highlighted, these will be for group loan schemes.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
But why is it limited? Why can't I, as a person who banks with the bank, be able to pre-apply so that? And I'll tell you why this is important. Is that in the industry, sellers do not like to sell to people on a mortgage because of the bureaucratic delays. It can take, well, actually, how long does it take for a mortgage to be processed?
All right. So with BancABC, if you are to receive your whole package in full, that would take us 5 to 7 working days.
5 to 7 working days from application to payout.
Yes, that would take us 5 to 7 working days, definitely.
So you have nothing.
Well, we just
to
need,
say.
everyone just needs to go to BancABC and get their mortgages.
Exactly.
I think further afield in the market, well, and in my experience, people are taking 4 weeks to 6 weeks in order to get their mortgage. And that creates a period where a person who's selling a property must have signed an agreement of sale, and they've got to take their property off of the market, and they're waiting, at least for the first 3 or 4 weeks, they're waiting just to be told if you're going to move forward. then if the person is not going to move forward, they've lost out in a month and they've got to put the property back on the market. So in terms of interest for people to sell to people on a mortgage, it's very low. In terms of even from an agent's perspective, you don't know whether you have a sale or not, and it's just too much work. So you actually find that people who purchase properties on a mortgage usually have to pay more money, or they have to buy properties that they don't particularly want, but they just have to take advantage of the facility that's available to them. So that's why it would be important, in my view, for individuals to be able to get pre-approval, so that, and that happens worldwide. You go, you get your things checked. I can't even see a reason why the bank would not do it. And they go and they find the property that they want with a letter that says, this person's pre-approved. All that's left is for a valuation on this property to be done, and transaction can go through smoothly.
I hear you. Now I'm on the bank side.
Okay.
A mortgage, there's a term he's going to use, loan to value, right?
Okay.
So in the transaction, there's Kura, the qualifying guy, and they say, no, you earn 10 grand, so your mortgage can be 4 grand. Sharp. But then whatever that 4 grand number throws up, is it 400,000? The bank must be assured, do they get reasonable, am I overpaying for a property? So if I've overpaid for the property and I've borrowed the money from them and it goes south, then Vanyura.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah.
So they have to have a valuation. So I get you with the pre-approval certificate. We do it all the time in South Africa. The market operates on that basis. I'm not going to run around with people showing them houses that I know they can't afford.
Yeah.
But then to close the transaction, there is that loan to value ratio where the bank with my mortgage has already protected itself with 20%, but then they all have policies to say, in this area, we're of the view that in Borrowdale, properties are worth 200,000. If this one has come at 300,000, it's a problem. And they're going to need to send a valuer, and the valuer is going to need to bring back to credit committee. He's got friends at credit committee. In your whole life, if the dudes you want to know in your life, it's banks, credit committees. They're the oaks. So that's
So definitely.
I hear where you're going,
Yeah.
but not that easy.
I still can't see where the problem is, because the problem for the seller isn't the time it takes to do what needs to be done. It's the time it takes to confirm that we do have a transaction.
Sure.
So if we sign an agreement of sale knowing it can be 8 weeks, but I know that this transaction is going forward, that's all somebody wants, is certainty.
So like I highlighted earlier on, most people in Zimbabwe don't bank. So what takes more time is to analyze if this someone can qualify for a mortgage. Mm-hmm. But if you are a seasoned customer, obviously it will be, it will take us less time to evaluate your paper than someone who's coming to say, yes, I do have money. I have 5,000 in my cupboard. If you want to see it, we can go outside. I will show you. It's 50% of the value. But for the bank to then say, yes, yeah, we can give you the other 50%, it will take us more time to then say, sure, we can go with the deal.
Sure.
Yeah, but still.
But like I said,
If
most
I've
of the
been
people,
banking with the bank for 6 months, and I'm not speaking to BancABC here, I'm speaking to the industry. If I've been banking with the bank for 10 years, you know what my income situation is. Surely we can have a scenario where you say, if you've been with the bank for consistently for 5 years, you qualify for the program where you pay your $100, and remember that $100 is for you to do all of that runaround, and we can pre-approve you for a period of 6 months.
No, I don't know you. I've known your past behavior. I don't know. So
you're never going to know me. There's a song, right?
so a bank is the accumulation of mine and Tafadzwa's money. We've gone and put in a deposit. My pension fund is in there, right? And they want to get 10% interest a year. So they've given it to the bank. The bank is going to put on a margin, and they're going to go out into the market. We don't know Brian. We don't know Jeff. We don't know Patience, right? We can only rely on credible delivered evidence. And that credible delivered evidence is, okay, we lent him for 400,000. Ano Shanda Kupi. How long has he been there? What is, can I garnish him if I don't get my payment? Dono mchaga kupi. To, as he said, to send you photographs of my deliveries to Fidelity and say, you know, I earn 25 grand because I deliver so many grams. Azubude, because when it goes bang, We're now coming to you to find you what we want and what we need from you to exercise that mortgage right that they've reserved to themselves. If you don't perform, we at least talk about a deed. We're not coming to look for Brian wherever he's gone and his financial woes. I don't know you. I know your history. I don't know where you are.
This is where I'm confused. You know my history because I've been banking with you. My salary comes into the account every single month.
Then what? Are you going to give me a love letter and say,
so that's the
guys,
same position that we get to. Why can't you do, all I'm saying is, can't you do the work that you're going to do forward in 2 weeks, do it before the fact? That's all I'm saying.
yes, it's a bank. It's precise. It wants to know we've done this transaction with this due diligence. Kubasa Kwenyu, you don't have a standard agreement. You'll have terms and conditions, and then I'm going to negotiate. I'm going to pay this. I'm not going to pay that. It's specific to the property. To expect an organization that runs thousands of deals to blanket just say, if you come through the front door in 3 days, we out to remariako. Can't work that way, surely.
Perfect. Hold on, let me just throw him back to the south of the Limpopo. So what is it that works there that can't work in Zimbabwe?
It will be called a subject to, and it will be subject to valuation.
Perfect. Can we do that?
Yeah, I'm sure we can.
Sure.
Perfect. That's all I'm asking for. We win.
So you've taken us 15
I'm sorry, I'm not a good communicator. I'm not a good communicator.
Kura, how long have we done this? You didn't figure that out.
Oh.
So yes, I didn't understand that. That's exactly what I'm asking for.
All right. So also, there are instances when, like I highlighted about group loan schemes, a company can come and say we have 50 employees, and us as the company, we have $1 million that is in our bank, and we are not going to use those $1 million for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So you can take that $1 million, place it on an investment, then use that for mortgages on our employees. Then that's another option. A deposit from the customer, or even a pension fund for that particular company. We can use those as well as a back-to-back mortgage facility. With that one, it will be more smoother, I'm sure, the way that you want. To then say, anyone coming from XYZ company, it won't take time. Because we have funds from your company that are already sitting with us, and they've already given us a list of employees to say, they are on permanent positions. They are with us until they die maybe, or until they resign on their own.
So unbeknownst to you, you've segued us into where I wanted us to go. Zimbabwe is a very particular place. The rules of economics, I think, they sort of shift. We went through the tough period that we went through. The country did not die. We are, whether you like it or not, very much a cash-based economy, and we're very much informal. So you've just highlighted that. For those that are lucky enough to be employed, that's great. Most people are not. And where is the innovation in the market when it comes to mortgages to cater for the informal clients?
Like I highlighted earlier on, everyone can apply for a mortgage with a bank. What you just need is to verify your source of funds and your ability to repay. If we are to give you a mortgage for 10 years, we'd need to know if you are able to give us those small installments for the next 10 years. So what you just need to do is to assess your source of income.
Okay.
And say, yes, is a self-employed someone who runs msika wake panza arikutowana $1 every day. If that someone gets a habit to say, I'm getting $1 before 3 o'clock, before the branch closes, I'll deposit my $1 in the bank account. Then tomorrow when I want to order more stock, I can use the funds that are already in my account to order my stock. Then when my customers buy using cash, at the end of the day, I will deposit my funds into the bank. The bank will have somewhere to access to then say, definitely we can lend to this particular
So the key thing is to prove income and to make sure there's no risk attached to that income.
Yes.
So if I come with a life insurance policy and that one guarantees repayment of my mortgage in full upon death. You know you've got no risk when it comes to me not making a payment, well, particularly if I die. And already you said we pay 0.01% of the mortgage bond for payment protection. In that scenario, have you not proved my income? There's no risk on the bank in terms of repayment.
So we can offer someone like that a mortgage. And maybe just to answer that as well, someone can say, I'm already borrowed with Bank B, but I also want a mortgage with BancABC. We can give that someone a mortgage. They will be saying, I can't move my salary to you because I'm already borrowed there. And they won't allow me to divert my salary to BancABC. That one now would need us to negotiate with your company, with your employer, to then say, you deduct the installment from source. And your employer will then vouch to say, I will be paying you the installments every now and then when they are due.
Okay.
So it's something like someone banking with Bank XYZ, but with a loan with us.
I'm actually happy.
So how long do I have to be banking with the bank for to be able to apply for a mortgage?
Normally, we would need to see at least 3 salary credits. But like I highlighted earlier on, we are open for discussions. We can even allow one, even after 1 salary credit, or even after 2. But normally it's after 3 salary credits.
Yeah. Tafadzwa, ndokumbira kubvunza panorwadza.
No. Okay.
How much is your money, sir? What is the interest rate?
Currently, our interest rate is on 18% per annum, with the best lending rate being 15% and the bank charges 3% just on top of the best lending rate.
How can I possibly reduce that? Nyacela. 18% a year, 1.5% a month. Imali yakawanda mdala.
Well understood. So, for one to come and say, let's sit down and negotiate this interest rate, we'd also need now to say, let's sit down as a corporate. We are talking to company ABC. Company ABC is saying we have 100 employees, and these 100 employees would want to buy stands or would want to buy properties rather in Harare, and they want to borrow with you guys.
Yeah.
So in that case, we can then say, let's negotiate with these guys. They give us that deposit, then we can maybe slightly lower the interest rate.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
Yes.
that.
It's something that
Yeah.
we can discuss.
I totally understand. There's country risk. There's the sourcing of money. There's the Reserve Bank policy on the cost of money.
Yes, sure.
So it's not at any way or form a dig at you guys.
Sure.
But I know out there when you talk of interest rate at 15 to 18%, those repayments look really, really scary. If we could get it anywhere to the 12s, 10. I think we'd all do a lot more business. You'd write a lot more business. He would do a lot more sales, and I could speak a lot more English in the middle.
Yeah. I like it when you know that there is cost of funds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's something that we will also take into consideration when we are calculating these interest rates.
Is there a lot of uptake in the market for mortgages?
Yes, sure, there is.
Okay. And what are you finding, particularly in terms of what I said, that people have to buy properties at a higher price and so forth? Have you found that?
So it's something that is common in the market. And as BancABC, we have a list of valuators that we have then set aside to say, whenever you want to buy a property and get a mortgage through BancABC, you have to decide between 1, 2, 3 and get those, evaluate the property.
Yeah. So I feel sorry for those younger people who didn't live through the time when banking was what it used to be. I want to give an example of what one could do in the past. You could get a mortgage based on the valuation rather than on the transaction that you're going to do. In other words, you could get a property valued at 400,000 and then you do a deal to buy it for 300,000 and the bank could actually give you the 300,000 plus 50,000 or whatever it is on top. And it's something that could be done in the past, but obviously things have changed.
The risks, huh?
Was it also possible maybe to say it's valued at 400,000, then I'm paying 500 during that era?
No. It
Why
wouldn't have made
always
sense.
down?
Because I think it
Because
was...
it's Sekuru and Muzukuru giving each other property, not rather selling.
No, I think liquidity was in excess at the time. So the banks did want to push money out. And then those that were wise enough were able to negotiate hard on the property versus valuation. But it's a long time ago. I don't want to disclose my age, but I'm younger than him. Yeah.
So confirm we are offering mortgages for our stands?
Definitely, yes, we are.
5 years as well?
Yes, sure.
And corporates can come in for the 10 to 15 year application, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we have, as I repeat, we have the mortgage options on our stands. You can buy on terms, you can buy in cash. Those that will have cash, Brian's clients, can come through. Please follow us on our Facebook page, Instagram. Is it X? Twitter? X?
X.
He will say X, I'll say Twitter.
I'll say Twitter.
For people that follow Kura, it's Twitter. On X, as well as on our website. And you can contact us for more information on our properties at bancabc.co.zw. Andrew, thank you so much for coming through and saving me, because they were going to ask me the questions and I said, I don't know.
Andrew, I was very soft. Can I get a lower interest rate?
What rate would you want?
Oh, don't ask him.
Give me like a 3%.
True, you see.
3%.
Yeah.
It's fun. But would need your business to bank with us.
That I've got a big business to
That's why I'm saying so.
Yeah.
Because we need your deposit. It would be easy for me to then say, no, guys, let's give this at 0%. Because he's giving us $1 million every month.
I hope the cameras are off because I'm about to deal.
Kura, this was fun, right?
It's been total. You've rocked, the banks rocked, putting the team together.
It did, right?
Yeah.
Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
You spent the day with us. We might give you just an employment contract.
I want a mortgage.
You
That's
just
what I
want a
want.
mortgage.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, everybody. This has been great. We hope you've learned something again. Please follow us. Please keep banking with us. This has been BancABC, Fresh Thinking, Smart Banking.